Cold outreach can make or break your odds of landing a client. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but these are 16 brutally honest tips about cold outreach. Tip 1. Once in a while, this will happen to you. You meet a client, you pitch them a service, you talk to them, they seem to have come cold, but now they feel like they're warm or even hot. They're scorching hot and they want to pay. You guys talk about the payments and you guys send the payment link and all that, and they simply stop responding. It hurts. It hurts bad. But sometimes it just happens. Usually when I start talking about cold pitching, most people skip it because they say it's too much work. I learned that cold pitching not only doubles down as more potential work for your portfolio, it actually strengthens you and sharpens your skills on the service you're actually doing, helping you find like templates and shortcuts to make your work infinitely more easier and less demanding along the way. Cold pitching is more like a cheat code. Number 3, when it comes to setting your price, it can be a tricky topic. If you shoot your price carelessly and without some sort of strategy, you will end up losing more potential clients that would have paid a whole lot more otherwise. What I figured that worked best for me was when I tried to figure out the client's budget range. But even in those cases where the message is something like, "Hello, how much do you charge for blank?" If you're providing a service, get around that and start asking them about their business, about their name, what they intend on doing and stuff like that, and try to assess what's their budget range before you actually ask them what's their budget range as well. Then you make 3 packages along those sides of the budget range, Using this method, you can convert more cold and warm clients. Tip 4. Believe it or not, the time that you actually DM a client might actually influence if they see the DM or not. If you're sending DMs to a yoga instructor at around 2 a.m., odds are they're asleep and they won't actually see the DMs. So why actually send them that time? The best workaround I did around this was actually having the time zone of each place I'm DMing on my phone app, World Clock, and I have in mind the time zone on which one I actually am DMing. I usually aim for something along the lines of 10 to 2 p.m. In some cases, along the lines of even to 4 p.m. or something like that, the active hours, and it usually works best for me. Tip 5. If you're currently outreaching, do something for me. Check the last 50 people that you were DMing and let me know in the comments if it was businesses or if it was an actual personal page. When you're cold outreaching, you shouldn't aim for businesses. Try aiming particularly for pages. When you aim for businesses, you go through a lot of stuff to actually get to someone who can actually notice and actually give a decision on whether you can do something or not. Jump that whole process and pinpoint a person of interest in the company and send the outreach to them. Did you go? Did you go and check? Did you go and check how many people you DM? Do, bro. Please do. And comment the answer. I'm gonna be seeing the answers. Number 6. I went through fatigue, not because of producing a lot of content or not because of sending samples to different clients. Those parts I actually enjoyed. What was killing me was having to produce content for different social media simultaneously. It was wearing me down and each social media has its own thing. Until I stopped doing that and now focus mainly on YouTube. I do intend on going on to other platforms, but I intend on making the process seamless. So it's basically good to actually maintain, be it a social media or being a software you're developing or working on, if it's Premiere Pro, Illustrator. Don't be jumping around other stuff. Just focus on one thing and it will do you more good than bad. Tip 7. One common thing I hear that stops people from actually starting cold outreach, that might be your case too, is the fact that they don't have a portfolio. But there's a way around that. I currently don't have a portfolio too, technically. You know why? And there's a very cool explanation for that. Because people, when they usually come out and outreach to me, they're usually from different niches. If it's a gardener They won't care about logos or brand identity that I did for like a dentist or something like that. It just won't spark the same interest within them. But if you build your basis around a cold pitch you send to them with free samples and all that, you'll open your doors for charging more and sounding as a more clear and more trustworthy person to work with. Number 8. You know what the worst thing is? When you send a free sample to a client and you never hear back from them. I have a Google Drive folder where I have most of the free samples that I've been sending to my clients. Some of them are rejected and some of them approved. They still got a lot of replies. My first samples were kind of poop, but they were important for personal growth. Tip 9. Most of the people who reach out to me and most of the people who reach out in general end up falling into this mistake of actually typing the first message when you're outreaching to clients. I had a hard time getting replies out of this. Even if I had a super tempting spicy offer, they wouldn't budge and they wouldn't accept it. They wouldn't even see it, let alone accept it, you know. When I started sending voice messages, they naturally had to start opening it. Tip 10 is a question. What lane do you fall in? Corporate guy or regular guy? That's a genuine question. Comment the answer. And if you have already commented, I will know because you will edit the actual answer you said from the pages you see and include if you're a regular guy or a corporate. I really want to know, and it's based on a study I'm doing, and it's nothing too suspicious. Not at all. Next number. Tip 11. Never talk money on the first DM. It's very easy to fumble the bag even though a client is warm or scorching hot just by not treating them right. One DM can turn the whole interaction south. If you're selling a service, the first 10 messages shouldn't be about talking about money. To fill in the 10 messages, ask them about their name, about their business, and more about like what they intend on doing. Even go ahead and do a mood board with them, but fill in 10 messages before you guys talk money. And for me personally, converting clients on calls worked even better. Tip 12. When following up, what's your strategy? Are you like Jim? Constantly asking messages like, hey, how are you? Are you doing well? I was just wanting to bless you with this day. Hey, is it another day? Are you well? Are you ready to proceed with the payment? I usually block those type of people. My strategy is, if I interact with a client and we end on a positive note, meaning that I am supposed to like wait for something or something like that, if I feel the urge to check in, I rarely go ahead and just text him something. I will go out of my way and make some sort of free sample. If it's a video I'm doing for them or if it's an ad, I would do something for free for them and then like send them and ask them for their thoughts on that. You know, at least I'm going there with something new instead of just going there and like ruining their day just having to answer the message. The real reason I hate when people send messages like this is because it cuts when I'm filming my video. Tip 13. As soon as I had a new client, I remember vividly. It was almost like I had a mini heart attack, always. So much so that from the moment that I received their DM, I would be glued to the phone and actually responding instantly as soon as they actually send it messages. And they would end up thinking that I was something like ChatGPT. And the weirdest thing is ChatGPT wasn't even out by then, you know? This ended up scaring away clients. And should I underline that ChatGPT wasn't even out yet? So it ended up looking extra needy and made me look less professional than I actually was. Sometimes you just gotta learn to back off and mirror the time in which they're messaging you as well. Tip 14. I'm still not really a fan of AI in the sense of it taking control of what I express and how I'm supposed to tone stuff. I don't really trust a bot with that. You know, it's a tool supposed to heighten your already existing traits. It's not supposed to substitute for not having a trait in its totality. I'm actually a coder when I have ChatGPT. I can code some software, I can make some apps, working apps in this case, but take away the ChatGPT, I fail to see the simplest mistakes that even level 3 low-tier coders could see. Tip 15. If you're sending your outreach and always introducing yourself in the first seconds of the outreach, stop doing that. Stop doing that. People don't really care. People don't care what your name is. People don't care how much you've been working. They really just care about themselves. So as soon as you're sending your audio, just know that you're only talking about them and how you're going to help them. Your first audio shouldn't be longer than 30 seconds. That's what works for me, and prove me wrong. Number 16, and I'm gonna be honest with this one. My fear was mainly of trying something and failing, like we all do. But my fear was different. So much so that I wanted to know everything possible. I wanted to learn from every source, from every crevice, from every course possible on that one thing before I actually started it to increase my success rate. That's just me, but does that sound crazy to you? In hindsight, it does to me too. But I usually thought like this, and I actually did. This was an impression of me just doing my morning mantra and looking myself in the mirror and just like knowing that I'm doing this. I'm not procrastinating. I'm just looking for the best source on this, and that. Until something switched and I stopped having the fear of trying. And when that happened, I learned a whole lot quicker because I was in the field. I was actually doing stuff and more stuff stuck in my mind. So that's how I'm actually now doing YouTube and achieving what I really wanted to achieve, which was being able to talk to the camera and being a YouTuber in general. It's kind of nice in here. And yeah, it mainly comes down to this. You learn more in the field than in books. I made a playlist with everything I know about cold outreach. It'll be in the end screen.